Valverde at the second intermediate checkpoint. That's a good time, Tron. I think he's holding on quite well there.
Yes, he's doing quite well, and it will be interesting to see now as the next man comes through, Contador Froome. That will give us the real indication to see what times they can put in here. And we have seen there Joaquim Rodriguez, he is limiting the losses there, hovering around that 40-42 seconds all the time, and that's because we're on the climb itself. And if he can keep it at that and the final run in, even lose another 10 or 15 seconds and finish at the 40-50 seconds to Contador to Froome, well then that will be a real good performance for Rodriguez. But it's going to be difficult for him to stay in there, as we see Contador coming here to this 23.5 kilometer checkpoint.
And the fastest from Kersiukov. Is he going to go underneath it? Oh! Second fastest, but only by 2 seconds. 35.44 for Alberto Contador. It's amazing how closely Contador and Froome seem to be matched at the moment here, Sean.
Yes, it's turning out, as I said, to be a real ding-dong between the two men in the second and third place in the general classification. But Valverde, hats off to him for the moment. He is defending quite well. It will be interesting to see now with Rodriguez as he comes to this 23.5 kilometers, how far he is going to be off. I was concerned, between the two good time trialers, Contador, Froome, Valverde and Rodriguez. I thought they would be, a big difference, but it's not turning out for the moment to be anything like that. And if they can continue on and hold it in or about that time, I think Valverde, Rodriguez will be happy with that performance.
Oh, bells, that's quick, that descent. Froome has 35.44 to aim at from Alberto Contador. Remember, he started the day 7 seconds up on Contador. What is the big difference here? To be 51, 35, 51 or thereabouts to be equal. And I just think Froome is having to give it absolutely everything here, whilst Contador seems to have just a little bit more in the tank. It's so difficult to tell. Their styles are so different. I think Contador always looks quite perky anyway, regardless. Remember, 35.51 is the time that would equal, bring them absolutely level on GC time, and looks as though Froome is beginning to slip a little here. He's outside of it. 35.51 would bring them together. 36. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare on the descent here now, Sean, because I think Contador probably has the edge on that this section anyway.
Yes, well, again, Contador, of course, the climb itself, Contador would be real good at that, but Froome also should be able to match Contador on a climb, and we see 18 seconds for Christopher Froome down on Contador. He is going to have to put in a real strong final here and to try and pull back the time lost. We could see there the climb itself, it's not really steep, but it's just a big gear one, a real powerful man's time trial, and you would expect Froome to be maybe a little bit of an advantage there for him, because he is that maybe stronger on that style of real strong man's climb.
Interesting to see how he fares on this descent. 18 seconds off the pace of Alberto Contador. Sometimes the GPS lags a little bit behind. Contador should be, by right, should be a little faster on the descent than maybe Froome. But difficult to tell. And it's always different on these types of bikes as well, Sean. It's not the same as being on your road bike. A little bit more difficult to control.
Yes, a bit more difficult to control, and also very important when you were out this morning that you register all of the descent and how fast you can go. Some corners you can go full on, other ones you have to knock off your speed a little bit, and to have all of them registered very clear in your head, that is so important here. As we can see, Froome, he is making a little bit of correction, but at this speed it's not surprising because he's really pushing on here. And Contador, Froome, normally Contador maybe a little bit of an advantage on the descent, a little bit more comfortable than Christopher Froome, but again, when you're on your own it's a totally different situation from where you're in a group of riders. Some riders, they're not as comfortable when there's riders about them, so it'll be interesting to see as we get further down the descent here if Contador can take more time from Christopher Froome.
Here's Rodriguez, 7th fastest. This is pretty good, actually. Very good. How far down is he? Waiting for the time to tick away. 56 seconds down. Well, he will be really fighting towards the end of this. It's much closer than I expected, Sean.
Yes, it's going pretty well for Rodriguez, 56 seconds at this point, but again the descent is going to be important, and that final flat number of kilometers to finish, he's really going to have to dig in here to keep it in about that time.
Yep. 56 seconds down on Kesiakov, remember. This is the virtual general classification. Rodriguez would still be leading by 6 seconds over Alberto Contador, 15 over Christopher Froome, and 48 over Alejandro Valverde, 2:24 to Robert Hessink. So it's Joaquim Rodriguez is doing a very good job indeed here at the moment. See how fast he can get down here. Contador was absolutely belting down here. Where the roads are wide enough to just, certainly at this part of the descent, to just give it absolutely everything to the corners. You saw how fast Contador was going. You wouldn't want to go over the side there, though, would you?
Well, if you go over the side, your time trial is over for the day.
Exactly.
The time you're going to lose there, again, get back on your bike. You cannot afford at all to get it wrong and run off the road, because that will really, destroy your time trial. And of course, your morale when you get back on the bike again would be real low. Then you lose your confidence, which is the big problem. And as you go on down, then you're not going to really go down at the pace you should be. So, hopefully none of the guys here will get it wrong on this descent.
The absolutely classic example of that in modern times was the now no longer to be seen Michael Rasmussen challenging for a Tour win, at least a podium, in the polka dot jersey in the final time trial whilst riding for Rabobank. You could have written the script for it. Overcooked it on a roundabout and went down, then overcooked it and went into a ditch, and then overcooked it again and went down, just because it all went to pieces. Totally went to pieces. Nowhere to hide with these bikes. And even great riders like Fabian Cancellara, as we saw when he lost his world crown to Tony Martin, careening into the barriers, trying to chase the time. Somebody's asking, why are we getting in just an overhead shot of Valverde? I don't know is the answer to that. They've got a limited number of motorcycles and they've decided to focus on Rodriguez, Contador and Froome. Limited number of motorcycles to follow them. Somebody's suggesting it could be. It's wind assistant. Is it wind assistance? One wonders? No. The helicopter's way too high. Froome is losing a little bit more ground here to Contador. Contador seems to have gained a much firmer upper hand here, much more of a grip on it.
Yes, and it seems like he's made a better descent, of course. Froome at that 23-kilometre mark, just at the top of the climb, he was around the 15 seconds. Now we're seeing 20 seconds for Froome down on Alberto Contador. Valverde at 48 at that 23.5-kilometre mark, and Rodriguez at 56. So the top four in general classification, the two better time trialists are that bit closer, but again, the guys which we would have been concerned about not great in the time trial, Valverde, Rodriguez really hanging in there, and 16 kilometres to finish, about 7 or 8 kilometres of downhill, and then there's a flat section, there's a pan flat the last number of kilometres, and I think both of the men, Valverde and Rodriguez, really put in a good performance. As we can see, Rodriguez here at 50 seconds at the moment off Contador. It's a good time for me. I was worried that would be much greater than that.
He's doing a very good job, Joaquim Rodriguez. I think he's riding a very clever Vuelta a España, and he's giving this one a lot of effort. His time trialling has definitely improved. He's never going to be a super time trialist, Sean, at all, and he needs a hill in it to help him, but he's still improved drastically from, say, 3-4 years ago.
Yes, I think the Tour of Italy time trial has given him a bit of confidence, and it looks like that it's helping him today, because he is really putting in a good time here, and we can see there the section where he's at the moment. He's made quite a lot of the downhill, but it does kick up as well for a little bit, and I think that's where it's very important for Rodriguez. This hill in the middle is proving vital and helping him to limit his losses quite big time.
You go, Anton. Still waiting for his time to come in this Vuelta, I think. 3 minutes and 38 seconds down, 42nd. He'll lose some time today then. Flying 8th overall. Nicolas Roche, Moreno, Hessink, Valverde, Contador, Froome and Rodriguez still to arrive, and here is Roche. Oh, he doesn't like this sort of thing, time trialing, but the question is, we were saying, Sean, you need to finish at top 10 if you can here. A little earlier. 2 minutes and 21 seconds down on Fredrik Kessiakoff. He will struggle a little bit, I think, in the week to come, but that's a fairly respectable result, Sean. He's going to keep himself up to about where he is at the moment.
Yes, it is a good time, 2:20, because Kessiakoff's time, I think, looking at the intermediate times, it is a real fast time trial for him, and the other favourites out here on the road at the moment, they're not really going to, make a big difference in that, and I think at 2:20 for Roach, if he can stay around that to the other men who are up there in the top 10, 12 of the general classification, well, then he should be happy enough with that.
.26 seconds now between Contador and Froome. The upper hand is definitely with the Spaniard. And I suspected, just the body language seemed to me for Froome, and he was really on the rivet, just trying to keep as much as he could in hand to chase after Alberto Contador, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. This is Daniel Moreno. This is a good time. Moreno, again, not a specialist time trialist, but he's a good climber. And this is where he's gained his advantage. 9th overall last year in the Vuelta, 2:02 down, 10th fastest time so far. Remember, Kessiakoff is not a man we have to worry about, other than for the stage win, of course, but not for the overall classification. easy task for some of the director sportifs chasing these guys down the mountain either in the car. Incidentally, the cars don't really have any modifications much. They are, you know, it's structurally or suspension-wise or whatever. Until you get to Paris-Roubaix or something like that, sometimes they jack them up, bigger springs and shocks, higher springs and shocks to get over things, and they put sump guards and stuff like that on, bash guards. But they do roll around a little bit on some of these descents when you're herring off after people like Contador and Froome and so forth. Very impressive ride by Joaquim Rodriguez. Very impressive ride by this man here. But Rodriguez doing a fine job at the moment of hanging on in there. And he's going to take the fight into the final week, Sean, I think,
yes,
at the moment.
Yes, we can see that at 7 kilometers to go, 53 seconds for Rodriguez down on Alberto Contador. And, you know, if he can finish this final 7 kilometers real strong and hold at that, it'll be a great performance for him. As we see, guessing coming in, which is going to be a good time.
Yeah, good time. 54.18 for Robert Hissink. 54.18. 7th fastest for the Dutchman. Continues to stay up within shouting distance of people. Question will be, where will Valverde come at this point? This is where the classification is for the stage at the moment. Kesyukov ahead of Inchausti, Port, Cameron Mayer, Talansky, Castelviejo. So Talansky's time not looking too bad now. Here comes Alejandro Valverde. If you bear in mind that the gap between Valverde and Hissink was 54 seconds. Valverde is doing a very good time. Kesyukov's time 52.36 is safe, but this is an excellent time by Valverde, Sean, and I don't think we should have not expected this, because he's been riding strongly all the way through the Vuelta.
Yes, well, he is in good shape, but again, as I said earlier on, sometimes as he comes over here, 53.44, a real good performance. He is in good shape. We've seen the way he is, you know, winning stages and very aggressive in the mountaintop finishes. But saying that, he can have problems sometimes in the time trial. But today he has, you know, put in a real good, strong performance there.
Parkour helping him, of course. Having a hill in the middle of it is good for him. Here is Alberto Contador. He looks to be going super strong, Sean, even after 39 kilometers.
Yes, well, we've seen Contador in the past. He is, you know, a real good time trialist, and when he is in top shape, he can put in some extraordinary times and really put it up against, you know, the great time trialists we see in the Tour in the past. He can put up against the likes of Cancellara and the real strong time trialists who are preparing for a number of days leading up to that. And this one is going to be a real good performance as well.
Alberto Contador, second fastest at the moment. He's going to come inside of the time of Valverde, 52.53, just 17 seconds down on Kesyukov. Kesyukov looking now as though he's a little happy, Sean. I think he's going to win the stage now.
Yes.
Don't see Froome coming back.
No, looking at the time that Froome is putting in all through the time trial, it's not, you know, going to it's not going to happen really in this final number of kilometers, and Kesyukov knows that he's put in, you know, a real strong time trial here and could going to take the stage victory.
Christopher Froome. Through these very narrow streets towards the finish, has lost a number of seconds on Alberto Contador today. I don't know what he'd be feeling about that, Sean. I mean, we knew that Contador is a very good time trialist. I think Froome himself may have thought that he could stay within a little closer to Alberto Contador. Another kilometre banner to go.
Well, I would think that Christopher Froome would be expecting maybe to beat Contador in this one, considering his time trial performance in the Tour of France, the Olympic time trial. But again, you know, new terrain for Christopher Froome. He hasn't raced against him, but they can make the calculation in other time trials. And now the question is Christopher Froome starting to suffer a bit? Is the tiredness from a very difficult Tour of France starting to take effect? We will have to wait for the days to come when we get to the big mountains. And for that matter, Contador as well. Will he have difficulty in the final week, not having raced for a long time? It's going to be an exciting final week to this Vuelta.
Christopher Froome, who lost time on the drive up the climb, the Alto Monte Castrova, giving it everything he can to limit his losses against Alberto Contador. Now he knows who the battle is going to be up against, but he should not discount Joaquim Rodriguez behind him either. Froome finishes third fastest, 39 seconds down, 53.15. I think he's come back at him a little bit, Sean.
Yes, well, he is putting a good final there. He has battled against him, but again, you know, it's been like that all the time trial for the 39.4 kilometers. We just could see that Contador was, you know, pulling away a bit. Then Froome would seem to make the effort and come back, but on the climb itself, as you say, that's where the advantage creeped out a bit. And but Froome, I think he has had to dig real deep here to just limit that time loss to Contador.
I think so. They'll all be hoping for a very easy run tomorrow. The stage itself is pretty much pan flat until a nasty little dig at the end. With this man here, Joaquim Rodriguez, if he's got anything left in the tank, will try and claw back a little time again. 23 seconds was the gap in the end between Chris Froome and Alberto Contador. I think it's been a fine ride by Rodriguez. This is not what he likes to do, race against the clock. Admittedly, it's got a hill in the middle of it, third category climb in the middle of it. Doesn't make it hurt any less. His advantage this morning over Froome was 53 seconds and a minute over Alberto Contador. And Contador finishing with 52.53. Joaquim Rodriguez, I think, will be within about the minute mark, Sean, there or thereabouts.
Yes, well, from the moment we got up to the climb, the advantage has stabilised a lot, and he's put in a really good battle here, and it will be interesting to see now in the final number of kilometres what way he has defended. He has done a great job, because on the descent itself we could see there where he was, you know, putting in a real good battle and not losing any time. Actually gained a couple of seconds on Contador on the descent, I reckon.
Yeah, looked a bit like it. He's really fighting for this Vuelta. Is Joaquim Rodriguez. 53 would be within the minute that Contador was at him, and it's exactly that. 53. 1 minute behind Alberto Contador. Well, the question is, Sean, who will pull on the red jersey tonight? They're at exactly the same time. It'll go down to the hundredths and thousandths of a second now for Joaquim Rodriguez and Alberto Contador. The victory goes to Fredrik Kessiakoff on a very fine ride indeed against some of the best time trialists in the world here, Alberto Contador and Christopher Froome. There's the man with the stage victory. But Sean, it could not have been closer in the end between the leader's jersey wearer Joaquim Rodriguez and the best of the time trialists other than Kessiakoff on the day, Alberto Contador.
Yes, it's really close, and I think the one who has done the big performance here is Joaquim Rodriguez. You know, to be up there in that position, as we can see, you know, at 1:16 down, Contador at 17 seconds. So it's, you know, just around the minute, and it looks like maybe what.
It looks to me as though on that on the strength of that board they had there, Joaquim Rodriguez will still lead this Vuelta a España by 1 second.
A long time.
A lot of time, you said, waiting there in the hot seat and still with the best time and still now. How are the feelings?
I'm very relieved. I knew I had a good time when I finished, and especially against Richie Porte, who I know is a good time trial rider. So I knew it would be close to the favorites like Contador and Froome, but in the end, yeah, I'm just now really happy, really relieved that I actually pulled it off and could win the stage.
You thought at the beginning that you can't beat Alberto Contador, Chris Froome?
I knew it would be very, very difficult, but I think my whole team will say that I was very focused this morning and also last night, and also with my sports director, I've been thinking about this stage for a few days. So yeah, I came here very focused and ready to suffer, and yeah, I'm happy that I can walk away with the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very happy with himself. Here's Fredrik Kessiakov. I'm not surprised either. So, unfortunately, the two Australians who topped the leaderboard when we came on air, Cam Meyer and Richie Porte. Poor lads, knocked off the top by a series of very good performances, including, of course, Fredrik Kessiakov's. Here it is. Joaquim Rodriguez does still lead this Vuelta a España by a single second over Alberto Contador. Christopher Froome slips down 1 place as the Spanish former winner of this race leapfrogs over him. Valverde still in 4th place, a very good rider by Valverde. Hissink still in 5th at 2:22 now. There's a big daylight opening up between Hissink Moreno, Roach. Talansky moves up to 8th from 15th, and Tendam and Bolka Mollema still stay 9 and 10. Well, an interesting time trial, Sean, and we did say some of these guys will improve, like Talansky there, and maybe Contador, but very, very tight indeed at the top. Igor Anton now in 11th spot, but over 5.5 minutes down. Some of these men maybe just worth taking a packet. Look, Eros Capecchi as well. Nocentini still going well. Nimiet